Welcome back to another video. It's a Bradford City win. I never thought I'd say the day again this season, but obviously in true Bradford City fashion, that it would happen after a protest, of course, and that was a fantastic protest. I'll talk about that in a short while, but first I do want to say shout out to Chris from Cleckheaton, who I was stood next to waiting for the bus for ages, because as we all know, the buses to Bradford and out of Bradford are massively unreliable as ever, and that's why the video's out a bit later than I would have liked, because we were waiting for it for bloody ages. But yes, Chris was there as well, so it was nice to talk to him about City. Thanks to everyone as well for the support recently. 350 subscribers now, which is massively appreciated, but it's big for me because, you know, it's been a few weeks of a load of subscribers coming in, so thank you very much for subscribing. If you haven't done it yet, please do. It is massively appreciated. And I will look at a percentage, over 70% of you haven't subscribed, so you know, it's just that red button, don't cost no money, and it goes a long way. But yeah, don't be lazy, because I know football fans are lazy with stuff like that. But the match, the game, the protest beforehand, yeah, I did go, and it was great to see everyone sort of unite. Obviously you're gonna get there were always going to be one. You know, that was my big issue with it, because there is always one, whether it's on an aeroplane going to Tenerife and there's always a baby crying, or whether there's always someone moaning or shouting in Bradford Town Centre. There's always one person chanting German bombers, which is completely unacceptable and brainless, to be honest with you. But and that's all I can say about that. But obviously it's not condoned, and it did put something like that was always going to be used against us, and that's clearly what's happened, you know, in some areas of the media, because that's what they're focused on, unfortunately. Not over hundreds of people turning up to protest against a football club, demanding action, creating action. Obviously a lot of people are like, and said to me, who I know, you know, well, why are you going? What's it for? What's the aim? What are you getting out of it? We want to get out of it what happened yesterday. The club were aware of it, and you know, that's credit to the Independent and to the fans for uniting. And I think one looked north tonight with the protesting, and everyone who was a part of the main group, but then everyone who turned up, because every single person who was part of it turned up or contributed on social media by reposting or talking about it or telling people to go even if they couldn't make it or couldn't be bothered making it, and didn't want to go to a game. Even people who didn't go to the game, well done, because that all stands for this, and that's what we create. Great win. Enjoy tonight. I said that when we were on great runs, and I didn't really mention it as much. I said just enjoy it whilst it lasts, because tonight and tomorrow and until Monday, when we probably lose to Grimsby, which is inevitable because it's Bradford City, enjoy it whilst it lasts, because tonight we haven't lost a football match and we can feel good about that, and we can relax, you know, get a takeaway, treat yourself, watch some I was going to say watch some TV, the normal telly's rubbish, and a youth product in Bobby Poynton scored the winning goal essentially, and put the game to bed. And what a goal it was as well. So pleased for him, so proud of him. I think everyone in that stadium was smiling, or just had a big beaming smile on the face, because I've obviously celebrated goals massively throughout this season, throughout other seasons. I didn't celebrate as much as that, but it was a different celebration where it was just so, I don't know him, but I was so proud, and it was just like, I wish I was him, because he's a Bradford City fan. He scored an unbelievable goal at the Cop end. You know, the form ain't going our way, but he stood up and he's come from the reserves essentially, because he hasn't been even on the bench, which is quite criminal, you could argue. And he's gone and scored a goal like that, and you know, that's a moment he should cherish, no matter what happens in his career. You know, because there's thousands of Bradford City players. Well, there's thousands of players who have played for us over the years and got heritage numbers, and you know, who haven't played a lot of games, and youth products who have come through and haven't played a lot of games, but have played for the football club, they've scored for the football club, and I'm talking about fans here, and you know, they know what that feels like. I don't, and that's something that no matter what happens in his career, that will always be remembered for him, and hopefully that he can take that into the future, because he's got a bright future. And for me, his technical ability is there to see. I think his crossing really lets him down, but I'm not going to talk about that today. his defensive abilities that I love today. He was man marking their midfielder throughout the game, and Tranmere were poor. They were really poor, but we managed to deal with them really well, and we limited what they could do. I felt like their 4-4-2 sort of made them. They only had one way of playing, and we could easily stop it. It had its limitations. That's the word. Thank you. I'm saying thank you to my brain for magically coming up with a word out of the blue. But they had their limitations, and we managed to figure that out as the game went on. First 20 minutes were good, and that's something I've been saying for a long time, and I'm bored of it. That we've been conceding early, and we have a good 10 minutes, and then the 10 minutes after we fall off, we get tired and we concede. The first 20 minutes we kept our energy levels up, and the crowd got behind the players because they were shown a performance that they could buy into. They're shown desire, energy, commitment, quality chances created, and good defensive structure, which is something that we saw before in a good run, and it's gone missing because we've been leaking goals. But we saw players going into tackles, we saw players getting shots off and getting crosses into the box, and on another day it could have even been 4-5. If a certain player wasn't a Bradford City player, it could have been 4-5, and that certain player is useless, completely and utterly useless. But that I'll talk about in the player ratings, and I think you know who I'm on about. But completely and utterly useless. It is shocking. But like I say, it could have been 4-5 if it weren't for him, because the chances we created were great. And that's what I mean. You can't, no matter what you think about the football club, you can't ever blame the fans. It's flawless. It's scraping the barrel if you're criticising the fans, because the fans were always there. I didn't hear one whoop out and sparks out chant, which I didn't really like, because I feel like we should have continued it into a stadium. But then the fact that people went off to North Parade and did other things after that as well, that made it loud and clear as well. Sometimes silence is golden, the tremolos. But great song. But anyway, it's that's the thing. I wanted a chance, but then you can do the opposite, and the players can turn up, and then you can get behind them. And yeah, we won, but we didn't win because we got behind the players. We won because the players turned up and give us something to get behind, and they haven't done that enough this season. But like I say, we got behind them. So what do you want to say? You can't say out against that. But like I said, the shape that we had, I felt they had their limitations and we dominated them. Like I won about with Bobby Poynton. He man-marked Jennings in their midfield, and he couldn't get on the ball. So when the centre-backs were trying to play out, which Smith and Kavanagh did very well out of possession to press them and to basically, not man-mark them, but they were basically, ready to pounce on them, they couldn't play the balls into midfield areas because Jennings were man-marked and Henry wasn't allowed to float into the space. The wingers couldn't get into a game because what happened? Well, Richards and Zala did. They had great games as well. They pushed forward, and so did Kelly and Doyogoki. So then they couldn't get onto the ball or have enough time on the ball when they did. So they couldn't go wide, they couldn't go through the middle. So then they ended up having to really play it long, and then Platt won the headers. So and then Smallwood, credit to him as well. I thought he had a good game. I don't think he were great. I don't think he were bad at all. I think he gets a lot of undeserved flack sometimes, and deserved sometimes as well. But today I thought he had a good game. He picked up a lot of the loose balls. He had a stupid yellow card. The referee, God knows what he was thinking, and I didn't even mention him in my ref watch because in the preview because I didn't have enough time to. The video would have gone on too long. But I'll tell you stats now, and then it'll stick out like a sore thumb as to why this man shouldn't be refereeing in the EFL. Richie Watkins was his name. 2 League 2 games this season. 14 National League games this season. Right? And the most games he refereed last season were in the National League North and South. Why is that man refereeing a Bradford City match at Valley Parade? One of the main reasons as well that I could help, well, I couldn't even find a picture of him on the internet. I mean, who's a referee and don't have a picture of themselves on the flipping internet? I mean, come on. And they didn't look that young. So what's going on there? And it was shocking. The ball went out for a throw-in quite clearly, didn't give it. Smallwood's yellow card was never a yellow card, and it happens week in, week out, and I'm sick of it. So many brilliant tackles. Smallwood wins the ball, gets a bit of the man, but he wins the ball first, comes flying through him, and he gets booked for it every week. they do that. Oh no, fine. You get away with it because you're not Bradford City. You can go flying into one of our players, not a word said. Get on with it. Play on. Disgusting. And it did happen because Kavanagh got fouled numerous times. Sometimes they're a bit, you need to get your strength up and back yourself instead of falling all over all the time like Neymar, and like you've got liquid on washing up liquid on your feet. Stand up a bit. But he did get fouled a few times and didn't get free kicks from. There were another one as well that the referee got wrong. So many decisions, and it's like we won. So I'll criticise him when we've won as well. It's important to criticise when you've won because it shows that you're consistent. So what next? Player ratings. Let me know yours in the community tab. Sam Walker. It's a bit all over the place, isn't it? It always is when I've won, when I've won, because I put the ball in the back of the net. Sam Walker gets a 4. Brilliant save in the first half. Bobby Poynton, funnily enough, give the ball away. He should have cleared his lines, but he tried playing out instead. So it was a bit of a what you doing, lad? But Sam Walker made a fantastic save and a few decent bits of play, a few other good saves as well throughout the match. But they only had 3 shots on target. They didn't trouble us. So a steady and away performance again from Sam Walker, and another clean sheet to add to his Bradford City tally. The back 3, Oyugoki, he gets his stick. I thought against Harrogate he deserved it. He was poor in parts. I saw a player in him, and I have throughout the season I've seen a player in him, but never enough to start. I don't feel like he's quite at the level yet, but I think he can be. Today it showed me why I see a player in him, because I thought he had a solid game. I'll probably give him a 4. I thought he was quite steady on the ball. Like I say, him and Kelly did well to help put Halliday and Richards, because you had to be brave how we played to press up, and they helped that by pressing up and getting tight. And yeah, I thought also he looked a bit more up for it. He was using his physicality a bit more, a couple more occasions when he was against Harrogate. I thought he had a good game. Said it. Matty Platt. For me, that man looks injured. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but there were a moment where he rolled in his hamstring again in the first half, and he's not moving. He never was quick, but he's not moving quick. He's just sort of hopping around a bit, and he's not really breaking stride. But he is getting his duels. He's winning his duels, and he's doing the job. So I think give him a couple of weeks if he's still fit, and he'll look back to what he was before he got injured. But what good's that man? But he had a good game. So I think I gave him a 4. I might give him a 3, but I'll give him a 4. We won, clean sheet. Kieran Kelly gets a 4. Could have been disastrous, and if that missed kick ends up in the back of the net, then he's probably getting a 1, because we've then lost 3-0. Because that's what's happened recently for us. We have been poor. We've been terrible. We've been shocking. A lot of them. And everyone in the football club's been accountable for that, because they are responsible for that. But there has been moments where you've conceded the first goal, and it is fine margins. A lot of the games have been that, and then when we concede the first goal, we never come back, because we haven't got the right character or mentality in the football club to do that. If we went 1-0 down, heads would have dropped, and that would have been the end of it, and that would have been from Kelly's mistake. But before then and after then, and it didn't go in, he was very good. Helped Richards out, because defensively he's vulnerable. He pressed up and helped him. I thought he had a very good game, Kieran Kelly. Brad Halliday, he gets a 2. He gets a 2. It wasn't his best game. He had a load of good opportunities to get a good cross into a box, and he never really could. He struggled going forward a bit today. Defensively, again, very good, but going forward, a couple of crosses that he overhit, underhit, didn't quite get right, and that's why he's getting knocked down. Probably a bit harsh, but I feel like recently his performances have dropped a bit. Lewis Richards gets a 4. Again, he had moments in the game where I thought, you're not very good. But then he had moments in the game where I thought, you're unbelievable. He does blow it on cold. It's ridiculous with him. The goal for Kavanagh was all down to him on that left side. I don't know if it's that bit of play, but he definitely did it in the game anyway. Did a lovely little turn, lollipop sort of. I don't know what you call it. It's like you step on the ball, and you do a turn around the defender, and then you're off. And it was that. It was sort of turned. He turned on a sixpence and went off. Brilliant play. Whipped the cross in, and Kavanagh made the one to the front post, got a lovely flick in. And he did that a lot, did Richards. Very good down the left side. and defensively vulnerable, but Kelly helped him out. Very good game from Lewis Richards. The two midfielders in Smold and Walker, when I saw the lineup, I thought, dodgy. We've seen this before and it's not really worked, but it worked very well today. The formation, like I say, I talked about it a bit before, but it was the flat three centre-backs and then Walker, Richards and Halliday, but Smold was sort of in the hole, and then you had Walker and Poynton. Walker and Poynton, so just ahead of the hole, just ahead of Smallwood in the hole. And that worked really well because it meant that we could cut off the passes from there. Poynton obviously man-marked, and Walker sort of cut any potential passes off, and Kavanagh and Smith came inwards and stopped them from playing out by putting pressure on the centre-backs. And they nearly made a mistake like Kelly with their keeper. So that shape worked really well, and Walker and Smallwood did very well in midfield with that. Like I say, Smallwood picked up loose balls. There were moments in the game, a few really dodgy passes, a few tackles that he did drop out of, but if he's on a yellow, the referee's already dodgy, giving him a stupid yell that never was, then I can understand why he did back out of those. But I don't think he was as bad as people made out today, and we won. So I'll give him a 4, and I'll give Jamie Walker, I'll give him a 4 as well, because again, like I say, the shape in the midfield to the attack was really good, and that's why I won the game for me. Walker very good. Bobby Poynton gets a 4. We'll give him a 4. I've already talked about him enough. He was fantastic today, and I hope he's celebrating. Not too much, but I hope he's celebrating, because as a Bradford lad, I can't imagine what that feels like for him. So all credit to him. I'd love to be in his shoes for tonight. But Colin Kavanagh, he gets a 4 as well. He was fantastic. Got his goal, his energy, his dynamism. He got the Stadium Man of Match. I'm going to go Man of Match as well in the community tab. He was fantastic. I feel like technically not great player, but he's got that energy, he's got that desire, he's got that dynamism, he's got that unpredictability about him. I really like him. For me, he's a really entertaining player. The front three, say what you like about Tyler Smith, and I bloody well will, because he's just on new levels of bad. I'm considering Guthrie, Brunkner and Robinson. I think he's in that category, if not worse. He's shocking. He's shocking. The words are shocking. I can't think. I can't think. It's bad. He's bad. He's really bad. I mean, the chances he missed and the chances he didn't get onto, because he's not a striker. He's not a poacher. His build up, his link up play ain't too bad. I just feel, I just watched him today and I thought, if that's Jake Young, it complete different game. But it wasn't, and that's the problem. So I'm not going to give him a rating, but I think you can guess what it would be. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below to that 2-0 win to Tranmere Rovers. Protest Friday, success for me. I feel like there's not one bad word that can be said about it. People will try and find bad words to be said about it, but for me, all I saw were a peaceful protest trying to make change. We got change yesterday in terms of communication, but there's still a long way to go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 400 subscribers now. Can we get it before the end of the season, or is that too ambitious? Have a good one. And do, because cherish this. We've won a football match.